All right, all praises unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Warakakwadash. Peace, blessings, and much respect to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, on down to the rest of the elders who rule well within Israel. Salutations to the hopeful elect throughout the four corners of this whole entire earth, no matter where, whom they may be, or what they may look like, pushing out this purified truth to the rest of the church who believe as well. You men who may not be teachers or prophets, you women, sons and daughters also. The water to Yahweh Shai, because without him enduring and going to that cross for the nation of Israel and the nation of Israel alone, none of this would even be possible whatsoever. Let's touch on the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30 and verse 10. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord Yahweh, neither be dismayed, O Israel. For lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. So the real Israelites are not in the land of Israel, not as a whole. Now, of course, our people have been scattered all throughout the earth. So, of course, the chances are you're going to have our people among those so-called Israelis. But nevertheless, as a whole, our people aren't even calling ourselves Israelites, aren't even considering that we are the Lord's chosen people. But when that day comes that we get our land back, we're not going to be subjected to the heathen anymore. We're not going to have to worry about paying bills. We're not going to have to worry about, dealing with the stress and the anxiety that comes with being in this world. You can be feeling good today. You feel like you can fly. You feel like you can jump, and touch the stars. And then the next day, you might be feeling down in the spirit. You might feel kind of broken. But the inconsistencies that come in this world are going to be a thing of the past. We're going to completely be at peace and completely be happy in our kingdom. So let's read this again in Jeremiah 30 and 10. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord Yahweh, neither be dismayed, O Israel. So when you go into that word dismayed in Hebrews 28:65, the word says kathath, to be shattered, be dismayed, be broken, be abolished, be afraid, to be shattered, be broken. So that's typically the point. We shouldn't feel broken, but there's going to be days that come you just don't feel 100. You don't feel up to par. But see, these inconsistencies are going to be a thing of the past. In our kingdom, we're going to always be at peace. We're never going to stress and have the anxiety that comes with being in this world, because those of us with understanding, we understand this is not our rest. Neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar. So the Lord is going to save us. We have not been saved yet. And thy seed, because it's all about the seed, your father is what determines your lineage. The sperm that's placed inside of a woman, well, that sperm is the life being put inside of a woman. That sperm is what carries the lineage. And thy seed from the land of their captivity, and we're captive all throughout the earth, not just here in Babylon. And Jacob shall return and shall be in rest, and we're not at rest right now. And be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. So this can't be happening right now, because our people get nervous just having a police officer behind them while they're driving, not breaking the law at that. Why is that fear within our people? Because this is not our rest. We are not in our time, but we're coming into our time. So don't be broken, don't be shattered because of what's in front of you now. And it's easier said than done. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm Mr. Perfect and I'm always happy. I'm always uppity, because that's not true. Some men will act like that, though. That's why you got to be careful who you listen to, because, you know, some of these guys, they really act like robots. Like they just don't be going through it. Right? But anyway, this is Micah chapter 2 and 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. So we're not in our kingdom. We're not in our time. So we have to come out of this world. And how do we come out of this world? By repenting to the Heavenly Father and His Son. By changing your ways. By not walking in the spirit of deception, backsliding. Okay? Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it is polluted, and you better believe this society is polluted. The food that we're eating here in America, there are other parts of the world that would ban that food. They're not even allowed to eat a lot of the things we're eating here in America. But also shows you the Heavenly Father's with us. Okay, because it was told to us that we would eat poison and live. It was also told to us that we would eat our food defiled among the Gentiles. Even this food that we're eating, instead of it giving us the nutrients and the things that we actually need, a lot of this food breaks your body down. A lot of this food plays on your mental. Okay? Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. So this society is definitely polluted. And this society has definitely destroyed our people. And our people are going to ultimately face destruction because they're putting their faith in a society that was never meant to be for them. That was never meant, you know, to be in favor of them. Right now, those who are in power, being the wicked, they're the ones, you know, setting up laws, doing all this wickedness behind the scenes. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 15. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark. And they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? Now we understand this is speaking of the so-called Illuminati. And before I actually came into the truth, I was actually doing research and hearing about the Illuminati first. It was actually hearing about the Illuminati that I was starting to, chill out and make changes. When I started to hear about, people selling their souls, and you got people praying over the music, putting spirits in the music to try to entice others. I came across a man named John Todd years ago, and when I started, coming across this John Todd character, I was literally hooked. I was addicted. I'm talking about there would be just nights, all night, I'm just watching Illuminati videos. And it's funny, too, because a lot of the things that's happening today, I was hearing about it back then, but they're actually here now. Like, for example, the digital ID. I remember back when YouTube didn't have all the restraints it has now. Back in the day, you type in something, it just sends you into a world of unlimited things on the topic you typed in. Now you be lucky to get surface level information because people are too scared to say words. People are scared of the algorithm. People are scared to get their channels canceled. So a lot of information doesn't even get said on the level that it should, because a lot of people, whether they know it or not, they've already conformed. Without even being forced, they've already conformed. Now, we do have to be wise. We have to use wisdom. We don't want to just be reckless completely with the tongue. But nevertheless, speaking the truth, doing these lessons, well, that's the time to get it out, But anyway, you have the so-called Illuminati. And when I first came across them, it literally opened my eyes up to a whole different world. I started to see things completely different. Now, I always had a zeal for the Heavenly Father and His Son, but when I came across the Illuminati, that's when I really started to like, okay, I need to change my thought process, you know? And then, eventually I would come into the truth. But I came across the Illuminati stuff first, and that's what really started my journey of starting to change and chill out and not be so active and being a nigga. Okay? And that had to have happened back in like 2008, 2009. But I didn't actually come into the truth until some years later, being around 2014, I would say. Maybe 2013. I don't know. But anyway, Isaiah 29:15, woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord. So these elite, they really believe they're doing their works in secret just because the eyes of man don't see them. Okay? And their works are in dark, and they say, who seeth us and knoweth us? Well, guess what? The Heavenly Father sees you and He knows you because He made you. And He's going to bring you elite down very soon, and you know it. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. And just like a potter, he does things as he will when it comes to what he's creating. Okay, if he wants to create a vase, but then after creating that vase, he wants to put a crack in it, or after creating that vase, he wants to put it upside down, well, then that's what he's going to do. So surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? So at the end of the day, the Heavenly Father is the supreme potter. The clay is all the works under heaven that He made. And He made Esau to be the wicked. He made Esau to be the devil. And then seeing that Esau's been given a little bit of power, Esau being a potter within himself, a lesser potter, he's turning things upside down because he himself was created to be crooked and upside down. Okay, so seeing that we're not in our rest, these devils are plotting against us. They're in our land, claiming to be who we are, taking on our identity. But the actual Israelites don't even consider. They don't even want to know that they're Israelites. They'll avoid this truth like hearing this ministry is going to give them a disease. Okay? It's pretty messed up, but ultimately, yes, the Lord blocking them. But, from our perspective, it's very burdensome. Okay? They've turned everything upside down, seeing that it's their time. But see, we're coming in our time now. But let's go to the book of Zechariah. It's either Zechariah or Zephaniah, but I'll try Zechariah first. This is Zechariah chapter 9 and verse 6. A bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. So it says a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. Ashdod is in southern Palestine. Palestine typically is a part of Israel. So you have bastards in our land claiming to be us. The elite, the so-called Illuminati, they all claim to be so-called Jewish. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, all the families of the so-called Illuminati, they all claim to be quote-unquote Jewish. But in reality, they're bastards. And not only are they bastards, they are dwelling in our land. Okay? And they're going to pay for that. They're not the real Jews. And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. So let's go into that word Ashdod in Hebrews 7:9-5. Ashdod or Ashdod. It means powerful. Then it says a major Philistine city of the Mediterranean Sea, west from Jerusalem, modern Ashdod. From Hebrews 77:03, Ravager, Ashdod, a place in Palestine, Ashdod. And I believe to be more typical is located in southern Palestine. So you have bastards in our land claiming to be us. And then while they're claiming to be us, the actual Israelites, this is their mentality. Isaiah chapter 1 and 3, the ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doth not know, my people doth not consider. So our people don't even consider that they're the Israelites. They don't even want to hear this word. We're telling them the truth. Our people always want to say, oh, you know, they want the truth. They want to find out who they are. But then we tell them. And because we look like them, we look like they brothers, they cousins. We look like they uncle. We look like they dads. You know, in their mind, it's like, why do I got to listen to you? I don't even listen to them. You know, but that's going to be on them. We're doing our part to the best of our ability. All right. But see, you Israelites, your mentality is, it's really, yeah, it's burdensome, but really a lot of you are just rude. You talk about our language, how, yeah, we might be rude in speech, but a lot of you are just ill-mannered in general. Okay? A man will hold a door open for a woman. She won't say thank you in some cases. Let's say a man goes out, goes and has some drinks. He approaches a woman. She seems to be friendly, right? She seems to be interested. That man will buy that woman a drink, and then she'll go disappear into the night. Because, you know, you have a lot of people today, man, they're just very selfish, very self-centered, very stupid, very rude, very ill-mannered. All right? So when we're trying to do good for a lot of people, being our people, they actually, you know, step all over it. They walk all over it. They trot upon it. But that's why the scriptures also say to not give your pearls before swine. I do these videos, these lessons for the elect, and I wish it was up to me to make it where only the elect would see these videos, because most people are a waste of time. Okay? Even men who claim to be Israelites, you have a lot of men who have infiltrated this ministry. You have men in this ministry who are secret Masons, man. Among brothers. All right. But anyway, kind of getting off topic. Most of our people don't even consider that they are the Israelites. The ones who are calling themselves Israelites aren't even the real Israelites. Okay. Revelations chapter 2 and verse 9. I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. So these Amalekites who go back to Esau, Edom, they are one of the tribes of Edom. They are claiming that they are the Jews. They're claiming that they are the Israelites, but they'll give it a twist. Instead of saying Israelites, they'll say Israelis. Instead of saying Jew, they'll say Jewish. All right. But there are strangers in our land. All right. Claiming that they're us. And they're not us. I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Let's go back to Isaiah 1 and 3 now. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel doth not know. My people doth not consider. So our people don't even consider their power. They don't consider the Heavenly Father and his only begotten Son. They don't consider that they are the Israelites. But you know what? You have bastards claiming that they're us. You have bastards who run the world who really want to be us, but then the ones who are actually us don't even care. So let's go down to Isaiah chapter 1 and 7. Your country is desolate. Your cities are burned with fire. And that happened going all the way back to 67 to 70 AD when Jerusalem got ramshacked, man. We were overthrown. All right. Your country is desolate. Your cities are burned with fire. Your land, strangers devour it in your presence, and it is desolate as overthrown by strangers. So our land has been overthrown by strangers. Now we have strangers in our land. That's why I read to you in Zechariah 9 and 6, a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, being our land. Then they claim that there are people, and they really made that stamp going all the way back to 1948. But then in 1984, you had a phrase known as Big Brother. Now, in reality, Esau was the big brother of Jacob. Big brother's always watching. Well, yeah, big brother is always watching. And their minds are always focused on how to keep the Israelites asleep, how to keep the Israelites enslaved, or to just ultimately do away with them. Okay? If we can't have them as our slaves, do away with them. So you have people claiming to be us, and then the actual Israelites that we're trying to tell are the Israelites, they don't even care. Okay? So the Heavenly Father, he's not pleased with a lot of our people, man. They're going to pay for the stupidity that they're constantly showing. They're constantly reflecting stupidity. Okay? But the triumph of the wicked is not going to be forever. Yeah, it's Satan's time right now, but it's not going to be forever. Okay? So let's go back to the book of Micah. And instead of going to 2:10, I'm going to go to 2:1. Micah chapter 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. And that's these elite. They have the power to set laws, pass executive laws. They have the power to manipulate. They have the power to create narratives. Okay? Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. And why is it in the power of their hand? Well, let's get that in the book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So seeing that the earth was given into the hand of the wicked, it's in their power to be wicked. It's in their power to be evil. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So the judges are Israelites. That's why you even have a book within the Holy Bible known as the Book of Judges. Those judges were Israelites. It even tells you how the saints are going to judge the world. It tells you how, the Lord's sheep are going to sit on thrones, man, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. So the judges are Israelites. But in today's society, when you think of a judge, you're thinking of Esau's judicial system. You're thinking of Esau's court. Esau's the face of who the one you call God today, who the one you call the Messiah today, for a lot of people who are ignorant and don't know. Okay? The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof, starting with the Heavenly Father and his Son, down to all the apostles, prophets, angels. Everybody's a so-called Edomite in the eyes of an Edomite. Okay? That's why when you watch all these old Bible movies, everybody's always depicted as an Edomite. You don't see not one Negro, Latino, or Native American. You don't even see no damn so-called Chinese, Japanese. All you see is Edomites in these old films. Even a lot of films today trying to depict the truth of the Bible. You don't ever see the actual Israelites playing the role of Israelites, man, because they covered the faces of the judges. That all goes into their red, aka white supremacy. Okay, but it's all right though, because it's only for a short time. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So if it's not Esau, the so-called white man, that's the wicked, then who is it? I'll wait. And then somebody will say it's the Arabs. The Arabs are the real wicked because they actually carry swords. Man, no. The wicked is Esau, Edom. They've been given the world. They're the ones in rulership. All right? Because if it ain't them, you know what that means? We got to wait however many hundreds of years before the actual wicked rule, because the wicked would be in power when the Lord returns. Because the wicked would have to be Esau. So whoever Esau is would be in power when the Lord returns. That's the so-called white man. Stop it, all right? Job 20 and 5, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. So it seems like it's been a long time, but in reality, it's just been a moment. But within this moment of time, they've done a lot of damage. Okay? So seeing that they've done a good job lying to the world, depicting themselves to be the Israelites, the Heavenly Father is actually raising up the true Israelites, man. And eventually we are going to be brought back to our land, and they don't want that. This is why they're angry. That's why they're trying to use ICE as an excuse to snatch up Northern Kingdom. Okay? But really, that's going to extend to the Southern Kingdom as well. Esau has always done that. A lot of our people being in the Southern Kingdom, they think, well, that's happening to the Latinos right now. We good. We just going to kick back and chill. You know, we didn't have help when we were going through this and that. But you know what? That same attitude is a part of the problem. You know, that very selfish attitude to your own people. Yeah, the Latinos, a lot of times they would be looking down upon us with hatred in their eyes, but that goes into the Bible. But the day is going to come where Ephraim isn't going to envy Judah, and Judah's not going to vex Ephraim. We're coming together as a people, but our people constantly want to keep these separations among each other, not even understanding Esau's planning on getting all the Israelites. Okay? They're looking at all of us as a problem, not just Northern Kingdom, although ICE is going for them right now. It's going to get worse to the point, typically everybody's going to be a prey in these days to come. And the reason why is because they're going to be seeking and hunting the lives of those who are the Israelites, especially those who fear Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? So we're not in our rest now. We're coming into our rest. You know, the heathen who are in our land right now, they're going to be brought down. We haven't been restored yet, but we're coming into that point of Israel being restored. The restoration of Israel is happening right before people's eyes. Okay? But see, those who are in our land now are not the actual people. Our land is being split between Esau and Ishmael. Okay? But we're going to get our land back. All right? So I pray this lesson, it was simple and edifying. I wanted to feed you with something since I didn't make it out today. So all praises unto our power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Wa Rakakwadah Shalom.